Donald Trump is 110% correct to go to war over these tariffs. I'm going to explain why. People are panicked, and I understand, especially a large percentage of the population that are literally living off their 401ks and retirement right now. I understand, and I don't really have anything good. I don't really have a silver lining for you outside of the fact that I believe these tariff, renegotiations will be pretty quick. And I think that unless you're 90 years old, you will live to see the benefits of this. I hope, obviously. I mean, I could be wrong. And I understand the uncertainty that it creates when you see your 401k drop $50,000 in a day or whatever it is. But also understand that you're being fed absolute nonsense from the mainstream media about tariffs, and that these things that are being affected by the tariffs are largely things you do not need. They are things you want. Again, outside of the people living off their 401ks and retirement, I still believe that, and I believe very strongly that these negotiations will happen quickly, and there's already been several. Canada has already been, folded and said, hey, we'll drop our tariffs if you drop your tariffs. There's another nation last night that had an emergency meeting at 2 a.m. to readjust. It's like people think we have no power. The mainstream media has conditioned people into this goldfish brain nonsense where people have been programmed to expect immediate results constantly and for things to always be improving no matter what. Well, under the Biden administration, and quite frankly, the previous Trump administration, when we printed a bunch of money during the lockdowns, that's not how the real world works. And the fact of the matter is, every other country, as I discussed yesterday in the chart, has been absolutely taking advantage of the United States over tariffs, but nobody seems to have a problem with that. China tariffing America, nobody has any problem with that. America says, hey, China, we're going to tariff you. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is crazy. Trump's tanking the economy. And they don't even bother to do a simple Google search to see that China's manufacturing and production wing, basically entirely relies on the United States. The idea that China, the idea that we don't have negotiating power with China is a mainstream media lie told to make you panic. You see articles like this: Wall Street stocks drop like a stone, wiping trillions of value off 401ks. This drop is nothing compared to during the lockdowns, right? We all survived that and enjoyed 2 straight years of the stock market doing nothing but go up after that. Within minutes of Trump's announcement, futures tracking of America's flagship S&P 500 fell a whole 2%, while Nasdaq dropped 3%. The kind of falls not seen since the start of the lockdowns. The sharp sell-off followed Trump's fiery remarks, which accused foreign nations of ripping off the United States, vowing to impose tariffs on imports across the globe. I 100% agree with him. And I have money in the stock market, and I have a Roth IRA, and I have a 401k. And yes, they all went down yesterday. I think they're basically all still going down today too. But it's been 24 hours. People have to chill. If it's creating all sorts of stress, stop checking your 401k every day. Stop checking your stocks every single day. I promise you, the people that are going to be making a lot of money are investing in the market right now, not withdrawing. Do you think Tesla is going to go out of business right now, even though their stock keeps going on? Do you think Amazon's going to go out of business? Do you think Apple's going to go out of business? If you said no to those things, then what are you worried about? Yeah, the Apple stock dropped because they buy all their phones, their phones from China. Okay, well, they can produce the same phones in America. The fact that Apple is going to have to produce their phones in America, or China's going to have to deal with, negotiate the tariffs, does not reduce the demand for Apple products. Okay, it might affect their profitability, but that's the whole point of the negotiation. The idea that, people have absolutely lost their minds. Nobody understands how badly these deals have been for America. All they see are these talking heads going on TV saying, Trump stokes trade war as the world reels from tariffs. I don't care about the Indian stock market going down. I don't care. Why should I care? I don't care about Indian cities. I care about American cities. I care about American industry. There should be a penalty on outsourcing all this stuff to other countries. I mean, the fact that just look at who's using words like plummeting 1% to 2%. And you have a guy like Tim Walz. Let me remind you, as Ariane Wexler points out, Tim Walz discloses financial during the campaign. And you know what? Nothing. He has literally zero investments, zero stocks, zero mutual funds, zero properties. So let's listen to Tim Walz on tariffs.
It's an outrageous affront to folks who share our values on democracy, and for him to mock them and to say this about Canada, that they're nasty people.
I think Canadians are great people. I think that a 300% tariff on American dairy products is a little high. Why does that have to be America versus Canada? I know the Canadian people who watch my videos don't care about that 300% tariff. I know they didn't vote for it. They didn't place it. So why would I have any issue with Canadians? That should be, I mean, that's ridiculous, right? Anybody defending that is just doing so from a intellectually dishonest position, right? Like, they're saying, oh my God, these tariffs are so bad. Look at the stock market. Okay, let's look at it. All right, let's just look at it, all right? Let's just say the Dow Jones, right? Okay. It's down 1,400 points today, and it's 10:30 a.m., and it's already started to gain back. Let's look at for 5 years. If you had invested money 5 years ago, what would have happened? You would have doubled it. If you invested in the Dow Jones as an index, over just 5 years, you would have doubled your money. There is literally no better investment. Well, there are maybe the NASDAQ or the S&P. The idea that, I mean, let's look at the NASDAQ, okay? NASDAQ Jones, whoops. That's down 5% today. Down a little more because the tariffs affect that more. If you had invested just in 5 years ago in the NASDAQ and you didn't touch it, you would be up 126% today, okay? So the fact that the NASDAQ from January 31st has, lost significantly, you're still up more than double your money. Do you know what the average savings account pays? 0.001%. This is paying 126%, even including all of the losses that have been incurred in the last 3 months. This is a market correction, okay? The people who are making money are buying this dip. Now, I invested all my extra money into my coffee company, so I can't really buy the dip as aggressively as I'd want. But here's another great post. This from Insurrection Barbie, retweeted by Ron Coleman. I'm dumbfounded by the panic over tariffs. The previous administration printed 40% of the dollars that are currently circulating in America. Do you know what happens when you print that much money and you throw it into the economy? Well, you get insane inflation. Inflation that reverberates through the entire economy and affects every single American citizen. President Trump is telling you that he has a strategy, and the strategy is extremely effective because it will allow us to have a global reset. We are no longer being taken advantage of on the world stage, and we are forcing countries to pay a reciprocal tariff. That means that we are no longer going to be footing the bill for the manufacturing in other countries. Instead, we'll be incentivizing firms and companies to manufacture here. You get how that works, right? Because of these tariffs, and when Acme Corp moves their production to China to save 50% and just increase their bottom line, that gets reapplied to you as it gets tariffed back into America, right? Once those tariffs are reduced, or you remove the incentive for these companies to leave America and go to China. Again, there may be a small window of pain, but if Congress would get off their butts and pass President Trump's tax cuts, nobody in America would even feel the tariffs. And I would like to add that these tariffs are going to bring an enormous amount of revenue that will offset the deficit. Once again, stop telling me it's irresponsible to have a strategy game plan when you're the party that printed 40% of the money circulating in the U.S. economy that would make inflation soar for the entire country. And that insult to injury, if you were party to that 3 years lying to the American people about it. Did you hear a word from the media when the Democrats did this? No, you didn't hear a single word because the media is the enemy of the people and they want you stupid and ignorant. The only people who are actually going to be upset by all this are Wall Street investors who do not like any shakeup, just let Trump cook. I agree with that. Canada has offered to remove tariffs if the United States does. This is the purpose of America's Liberation Day. How about this? Okay, where's this emergency meeting I retweeted? Where is this? By the way, I was right about this guy. I told you he wasn't going to a job interview. You see, South Korea holds emergency meeting to cope with the tariff crisis. The entire world is dependent on the U.S. consumption. The capitulations will be fast and furious. I agree. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Don't listen to the media. I just showed you over 5 years through several different presidencies, the market has done nothing but go up. All right. Goldman, Trump announced a weighted average tariff of 18.3%, around 3% higher than the bank expected. However, roughly 1/3 of total imports are exempt, which means the increase is effectively 12.6%, below Goldman's 15% expectation. Off-ramp one. For those who already forgot Trump's first trade war, we are nearing the time when everyone turns apocalyptically bearish, and while the White House leaks a, quote, bullish trade war deal trial balloon. Off-ramp one. Countdown to China's introducing a, quote, fentanyl deal, 20% China tariffs eliminated. These are how this is going to work. Don't listen to the morons in mainstream media. I'm not telling you to go invest money. I'm just saying it's okay. It's going to be all right. These people are going to renegotiate. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're informed by it. If so, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow the channel. We'll talk to you again real soon.